author, you might not know what Preptober means. To explain a little bit, NaNoWRIMO, which is National Novel Writing Month, is in November. Authors come together to write 50,000 words in 1 month. To do this, we have to prep, and that's what Preptober is. We figure out what story we're going to write, what our characters are going to be, what genre we're going to write in, all the details we need to know before we begin. Now, normally I'm not a plotter, but for Nano, it's kind of necessary. Otherwise, you're just going to spend the whole month planning and you're never going to get in the 50,000 words. So this is kind of a new experience for me. And since I'm writing a new genre that I've never written before, I guess I'm doing a lot of things that are new to me. What better time than Nano to do it? But first, for the first time in 2 years, thanks to COVID, I'm going to go to the library. First time in 2 years. And I have a lot to get done today, so hopefully I will be able to control myself and not stay there for 4 hours, but we'll see. So, since I'm the idiot who forgot to eat lunch, it's now a couple of hours after I got home from the library, and it's time for me to get started on my planning. I did some preliminary planning. Hold on, let me turn off the fan. So used to it being on. I did some preliminary planning over the last few months because as the story came to me, I wrote it down in my bullet journal. But I didn't really flesh it out much, so I think I'm going to do that in October, and then actually for the first half of October, and then actually do a chapter by chapter or scene by scene outline. I don't normally do that. Normally what I do is I just do bullet points, which I can show you for the book I'm currently working on. Usually I just do bullet points of what needs to happen and whose POV it's going to be in. But I think because this is for Nano, I want to flesh it out as much as I possibly can. So I think doing a play-by-play outline is probably going to be the best idea. I've never done that before, so I'm a little nervous, but it's always the first time for everything. I'm going to put you on the ring light, so hopefully you can see the journal as I'm working on it. I would really love to get an overhead tripod and maybe someday, but they're not the cheapest things in the world, so it can't happen right now. So hopefully putting you on the ring light tripod will be good enough for you to see what I'm doing. So here we go. Okay, safe to say ring light tripod doesn't work for overhead. So I'm going to have to just do some B-roll showing what I'm working on. Eventually, I will get the overhead tripod because I think that's a really cool perspective when I'm doing things like journaling or planning. So hopefully I can find the money to get that soon. Until then, enjoy this Preptober vlog B-roll fun. So what you just saw amounts to me scratching out a lot of stuff, and that's because the page I'm working on is trying to discover my main character's first name. I had a whole lot of names, and I narrowed it down to Chesney, Wanda, or Margaret. I'm kind of leaning towards Chesney or Wanda, only because Margaret is common and it's used all the time. I don't want to go too crazy, which is why I crossed off things like Infinity and Laureen and Portia and Thelia, stuff like that. So I'm leaning towards Chesney. I'm gonna cross off Margaret. Chesney or Wanda? Wanda or Chesney? Chesney or Wanda? You know, I may have to put it to a vote. I think I may have to ask my Facebook fan page. If you have an opinion, let me know. Chesney or Wanda? Remember, it's a dark romance, so that might make a difference. Okay, next. Okay, we have the male characters all figured out. Our main character's name is Glenn, and then the other ones are Gino, Kieran, Xander, Spencer, Anton, and Lex. So, to give you a little backstory, in this book, the main female character goes on a bunch of dates to try to get over somebody. So that's why I need that many male names. I'm not sure exactly who they're going to be applied to, but I like the names, so we're going to stick with them. Next thing I gotta do, I pretty much have the female character figured out. I did her general details and her aesthetic. I have a video actually where I did her aesthetic, and I'll put it up in the cards. So I have her pretty much figured out, but you know what? I haven't really figured out the male. I've been kind of focusing on the female because she's been so clear in my head, but I guess I gotta figure out the male, which doesn't sound like much fun considering it's a dark romance, but it's gotta be done. So, here we go again. The details for the male MC are really not coming to me right now, so I just kind of made an outline of what I need to know about him. I'm not sure why he's so unclear to me. I kind of thought I was going to base him off of somebody, which means I should know pretty much everything about him. But for some reason, it's just not coming to me. It's like he's trying to tell me maybe he's somebody else. Maybe he's not actually based off this person. I'm not sure. I know his name and I know his age and I know his goals. That's basically it. I don't know much else about him. Yeah, so I don't know if he's gonna be like the typical, you know, everybody wants him kind of person, or if he's gonna be somebody you wouldn't expect him to be. I don't really know. I think maybe I need to focus on the story rather than the characters for now, because not only is it, like I said, a genre I don't normally write in, but it's also a story that's going to take a lot of detail and a lot of work. So I think maybe I need to focus on that right now. And I don't know how Preptober is going to go. I don't normally prep. I don't normally outline at all. Normally I have a basic idea and I run with it. But, yeah. So, I guess I'm going to end this vlog here only because I don't know exactly what I'm going to do next. And I don't think you guys want to sit here and watch 30 minutes of me being frustrated. Let's just say it's a good thing that that was a time lapse, because I said a couple of choice words that I don't normally say. Yeah. The joys of not being a full-time author and having to deal with other stuff in the same time. So, wish me luck for Preptober, and let me know in the comments if you're working on anything for NaNoWRIMO and what your Preptober is going to look like. And I will update you guys in a week about how this Preptober thing is going. Hopefully it's a nice vlog and not one where I am just basically strung out and stressed and wanting to quit. Not quite over. After a delicious dinner of barbecue bacon cheeseburger soup, I decided that I need to try again. And this time I'm going to go a little slower. I'm going to not focus too much on what I'm outlining and just focus on the story. And I think I'm going to look up a couple of references, probably from other authors who have done NaNoWRIMO before, and see maybe if there's like a checklist or something, because as I said, don't normally outline, and I pretty much have no idea what I'm doing. But let's see how this goes. Quick update. This method of outlining things and having Act 1, 2, and 3 sucks. And just exactly how many obstacles does one book need? I mean, they got you having obstacles, 3 obstacles in Act 2, 2 obstacles in Act 3. I mean, I don't think this method works for every genre. I really don't. And it's making me want to scrap this whole story idea. So I think I'm going to scrap the outlining idea. So at the end of the last clip, you saw how I was considering quitting and scrapping this whole idea. I really didn't want to do that, so after I kind of walked away, got my wits, stopped stressing, stopped overthinking, I came back to it. Now, I didn't record this. I didn't have the frame of mind to hit record and set up the ring light and all the other stuff that has to go with recording a video. So basically what I did is I came back to it, opened up the bullet journal, started doing a Google search. Everything on Google points to the same 2 processes I tried earlier, which just don't work for me. It's the 3 acts structure doesn't work. The can't remember what the other one was called, but basically it was breaking it down by chapters and doing like blocks. It just didn't work. So I scrapped both of those. I got out of Google. Google was not helping me. I decided, instead of looking for like industry standard, I went looking at other authors on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. A lot of them that I found use those 2 processes that I just mentioned that just don't work for me. So I just kept looking, and pretty much most of them use those 2 processes. Couldn't find somebody who outlines but doesn't use those 2 processes. Until I searched for specifically NaNoWRIMO. On Instagram, I found somebody had posted a image that basically laid out each thing you should do to win Nano. I printed that out and I'll put it up on the screen for you to see. And I followed that, except I didn't do, on the image it says, one thing to do each day of October, of Preptober. I didn't do that. I just kind of got the bullet journal out and did each thing in the bullet journal, except for, I took a couple out that didn't really pertain to my book, or that I didn't feel was something that I needed to answer. Like the one for 10.9 says, how does your main character react to authority? I didn't really feel I needed to know that answer right now, so I just didn't do that. But I did that in bullets, and it went pretty well. I wrote down what I could know about the character, and it did bring forward some other, I don't want to say plot points, but it some things that I know I want to include in the story. So it did give me an opportunity to sort of outline. The problem is, I'm still going into this half blind. I'm sure other authors who do Nano know way more about their story than I do. And I tried to do that. I tried to be as prepared as possible so I could just spend all of November typing away or writing away and not have to think about it. It doesn't work for me. And it was honestly just making the whole process 10 times worse. It was stressing me out. It was making me not want to write. It was bad. So I'm going into this half blind, and it's probably going to be a bad thing, but there's no other way for me to do it. I have to take what I already discovered throughout the time that I've been using the bullet journal and just run with it. And hopefully I get 50,000 words in November. If I don't, I don't. But hopefully I get enough, 25,000, 30,000, whatever, to really know where I'm going with the book. Of course, as I work, I'm going to update you guys. I'm not going to do some authors are doing like a weekly nano vlog and, stuff like that. But I'm not going to do that probably because, A, I'm not going to have a lot to say every week. B, you guys are going to get bored. And C, it takes a lot to record all that. And I'm not a full-time author. I will not be a full-time author in November. I'm still going to have to run my business as an editor and work on housework and care for my cat and, everything that you'll see in a future vlog, the things I do when I'm not writing, which is probably going to end up being a 2-part vlog because there's so many things I do when I'm not writing. But yeah, so that's how things are going right now. I said earlier, when I thought I was going to end this vlog the first time, that I will update you guys next week. And I'll still do that. I'll still probably update you at the end of the week to just tell you how Preptober is going. I don't really know what my next step is for Preptober because there's not really much more I can prep. Honestly, I have the main character's name, which, by the way, earlier in this clip, I did mention that I was going to put it to a vote, which I did. And it was overwhelmingly in favor of Chesney. Wanda people didn't like Wanda. So I think what I'm going to do is the main character's name is going to be Chesney, and there's actually a portion, I shouldn't say a whole portion, there's a scene in the book where one of the dates that the main character goes on is with a woman because she thinks that maybe a difference will help her move on from this person she's trying to get over. So I think what I'm going to do is, since the main character's name is going to be Chesney, I think I'll just use Wanda for the date's name, and that way I don't have to come up with another name. But anyway, I have female name character, I have male name characters, I have location, I have the main plot, I have a couple of lines of dialogue that I want to include. The ending's a little unclear. I do sort of know how we're going to turn around to get to the ending, but the actual ending is a little unclear, so that's going to probably come to me as I'm writing. I do have to come up with the first line. I would like to come up with the opening line before November, because honestly, I feel like the opening line is probably the most important thing about the writing, and even though this is technically going to be a first draft, I don't think without an opening line, a good opening line, that the rest of the book is going to come to me. I think I'm going to kind of be jumbled up, and I don't want to, I mean, I don't really necessarily think I need to write it in order, especially for Nano, but I feel like if I don't write the beginning first, I'm going to have problems, and I'd rather not create more problems for myself with everything that I've already been going through. So that's definitely something I need to do. Let's see what else I got here. I have the blurb sort of written. It's kind of more like a rough blurb, just something that came to me. I have possible taglines. That's all stuff that's going to happen after November, obviously. But sometimes that helps with the inspiration for the writing portion of it. I have my main female character pretty much figured out. I have her details and her aesthetic. I do have to work, like I said earlier, I do have to work on the male details, because he's just very unclear in my head right now. What I may do for the male is I may start with the aesthetic and then go back to the main details, because sometimes with the aesthetic work, stuff comes to me as I'm like looking at the stickers and the stamps and, you know, things like that. I did write down some details about, I don't want to give too much away, but about the other male in the story that's going to be important. But he's still pretty unclear too, because he needs to be the opposite of the main male. So I need to figure out the main male before I can figure out the other one. I did do a plot point list for this book, like I showed you earlier. So I did get that done, but that is basically where I'm at now. So there's a couple things I can do for Preptober, and since usually I'm only able to work Fridays and then one day, either Saturday or Sunday during the weekend, depending on what else I have scheduled, I think Preptober will be pretty much set with those tasks that I just mentioned, because I can't work on the book every day. Between the business I run and everything else I do, and the fact that I'm working on something else at the moment, doing something for NaNoWRIMO every day in October is just not going to be a possibility for me. So that's the good thing about the bullet journal, is I can continue to make notes as they come to me, which sometimes they come to me while I'm working. So I'm glad I got into the bullet journaling, because that's very helpful. So that's where I am. Preptober is off to a rough start, but hopefully it'll get better, and I hope you guys will tag along for the journey. Thursday's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be kind of more of a voiceover vlog, and that's because what we're going to do on Thursday is we're going to read the first chapter of this shift. This is going to be a first in a series of videos where I read the first chapter of all my books, my published books, most of my published books. If they're out of print or anything like that, then we won't include those ones. But so it's going to be a series of videos, and we're going to start with the shift, because it's my almost most recent release. Full length, it's my most recent release. Yeah, that's where we are for Thursday. I hope you guys will watch, and I hope you enjoy the kind of different vibe that this is gonna have, because I didn't feel like doing a video of you guys staring at me while I read was gonna be really worth your views. So I decided I was gonna do something a little bit more stylistic with this. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will, as always, be glad to hear from you guys in the comments. Yeah. Bye.